Alrighty, guys. Welcome to Runeterra Academy here. First matchup we got is going to be University of Southern California, USC, versus Omega Titan Esports Aries. And it's going to be kind of a banger, kind of something, the narratives that we were talking about before the cast started is USC and actually OMT have played each other previously, with USC taking the victory. So looking to try to expand on that, but OMT picking up a new AD carry that they're pretty comfortable with. They will be losing the first... I thought they were losing the first 3 bans.
Yeah, it seems like maybe it is the thing that they just picked something
forgot.
random. Yeah, it's like they just pick the Aatrox randomly, and then the rest of the ants are going to go through, because we can see already they're not going to pick anything. But yeah, like you were saying, they are losing the first 3 bans because of that last minute ESOP that they put in with their AD carry. But they're saying that they're really comfortable with that AD carry and that they are willing to take the 3 ban loss because that AD carry seems to be really good for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely seems like, from what we understand at least, they're very happy with this AD carry. So much so that they're willing to eat the first 3 bans for all games of this series, which is why we see no bans coming out from OMT. But speaking of the bans, we have USC is going to be picking or banning out Gwen, Lee Sin, and Varus, and then picking up the Jinx first pick. And I think Jinx right now is a very, very strong champion. Does need a couple of items to really get going and really be unlocked. So I expect USC to kind of play around the Jinx in the early game, trying to shovel some gold into her. Viego and Thresh also picked up here for OMT.
Yeah, and I'm really surprised because they ban away the Gwen on blue side, meaning that they probably don't like to play, but then they ignore completely Viego. Although Jinx is a really good and strong AD carry, I feel like there's other options that you can go, but Viego seems to be a champion that a lot of teams, a lot of people are valuing really highly, and they feel like that champion is so strong that if you leave it open, if you don't pick it, it's really troll unless the Gwen is up. So I'm kind of surprised seeing that up, but then we're seeing the Lulu and the Greaves coming through, so that Lulu can still be a flex, but they are really trying to boost their AD carries a lot with that champion, and if they can get another champion that can peel really well for the Jinx and the Graves, then they will have a really strong mid to late game transition in terms of fighting and in terms of champions that will really scale. But on the other side, OMT going for the Ezreal. Ezreal is a champion that right now in the current patch is really strong. The Sunderer buffs made him such a really strong champion that he can really fight against almost anyone, even if they are not tanks with the Sunderer, and deal so much damage.
Absolutely. Also, something else to note, I actually really like the Lulu pick into Viego. Obviously, the Jinx-Lulu synergy is disgustingly strong, but I really like Lulu into Viego just because it's a point-click polymorph. Since you have 2 AD carries, that should be enough damage to burst down Viego before he's really able to create havoc into the backline. So I like that. That Lulu pickup, on top of it just being a strong champion in general.
Yeah, and she was also one of the champions that was recently buffed, so it makes sense to be seeing more of the Lulu. And like you were saying, one of the key things to try and have against a Viego is point and click CC, or something that can just lock him up. Kind of like Kaji, in the sense that if you are able to just instantly lock him up, he cannot do what he wants, but Viego has more resources. So the Lulu here comes in perfectly. And even you're saying with the 2 AD carries that they can burst him, I feel like that would be more of the job of the Graves. I think that the Jinx is more ramp up damage in the longer the fights goes on, but the Graves can instantaneously burst him out, and I think that's also one of the ideas of why they take the Graves against the Viego as well. And
Absolutely.
But one of the champions that was left open because this happened and there wasn't any bans is the Rumble, which was kind of nerfed in the most recent patches, the same as Morgana, but he's still such a good champion to deal so much damage, and if he gets advantages early on, which he is able to do against certain matchups, then he will be able to take over the game, and he can be the sole AP damage, so itemizing against him can be really hard. But now USC answers with the Zoe. Really interesting to see the Zoe. I feel like that champion needs other pokers to be really effective, but that is a champion that can take over games if you are really confident in your level of play, so I'm interested to see how USC's mid laner plays around with the Zoe.
Absolutely. Something else about the Rumble pick is once he hits level 16, Equalizer's on like a 36-second cooldown.
Yeah.
So really being able to keep these choke points in check. It definitely seems that OMT wants to play in the jungle. They want to take skirmishes and be able to control where they fight with the Equalizer, as well as, I mean, that was a pretty big Rumble nerf, but it still wasn't, it didn't really touch the key components of what made him really strong. losing 40 damage in auto when he's overheating is pretty brutal, especially when you do get that attack speed boost when overheating. But it's mostly due to like your first clear or two. Pretty much like the first clear only, or the first clear only is what the Rumble really was affected with. And
Yeah.
yeah, it is going to be a Rumble in the jungle as well, it looks like.
Yeah, with the set pick, it pretty much secures it. And like you're saying, the nerf can be seen as huge, but good Rumble players can tackle those kind of things around the first to third clear, and they can still be really. They can still feel the champion good in the jungle and be a menace with the champion. So it didn't affect them that much. And because it's one of those AP junglers that it's really strange to see, in general, because there's times that Nidalee can be good, or Evelynn can be good, or Elise can be good, but there's not much AP junglers. So having the AP coming from the jungle and him being a good jungler, like you were saying in the Rumble, with such a crucial ultimate with Equalizer, kind of makes him already a jungler that you kind of have to value even with those kinds of nerfs.
Yes, definitely. And there are going to be into actual pick ban in the client, so it shouldn't be more than just a few more minutes here. Touching on the Zoe pick that you talked about earlier, is I understand why you pick it, but I personally don't like it. Here, I feel like there is just better options, but maybe he knows something we don't know. I would love to be proven wrong with that. That's actually one of my favorite things as a caster when I make predictions, is please prove me wrong. I don't want to, I don't want to be like, okay, well, here's how the game's going to go, and then it, be right every single time.
Yeah.
I love being proven wrong, so I hope that this Zoe does well. I personally don't like the pick. I see kind of an angle if you're looking to burst the Viego down, but Ezreal hard to lock down. Rumble pretty immobile for the most part, but does have some movement speed, so he should be okay, and Set can block a lot of the damage depending upon when he utilizes that Haymaker. I do like the Ornn pickup. I think the Ornn items are going to be very, very strong come later on in the game. Each one basically giving about 1,000 golds worth of stats to whoever he upgrades, and creating just a lot of team fight pressure with that Ornn Horn.
Yeah, and you have champions that will get more than other champions value out of those Ornn items just because of how they typically tend to function. Graves and Jinx, champions that really like to have items, especially Jinx. It's a champion that the more items you have, the better you feel as a champion. So to a same degree, it's the same. And Lulu as well, even as a support, if you have some items with her, you pretty much feel so good. So obviously, the added value of having the Ornn is there. But one of the things that I really like about the set is that even though the Ornn can not go in with the set, the damage that the set can do with a huge frontliner with his Showmaker, it's so important. So, Showstopper. It's really important because that way he can not only get on top of the backline, but he can make it so that he can put the CC on top of the carries like Jinx, Graves, and Zoe, and then the Rumble can just throw the Equalizer, and the teamfight is pretty much done up to that point because you have so many squishes that can die instantly from those two ultimates. So at least there's already a really good setup. One of the champions that I really kind of perplexed about why he's there is mainly the Thresh, just because Thresh typically is a champion that wants to be so that he can get certain picks, but also save the AD carry from certain positions. But you already have such a mobile AD carry on the Ezreal that he can pretty much be saved by himself. So you can then just opt into a more engaged heavy support like Leona, like Nautilus.
Or you can be Viego's escape. You can treat Viego more like you're the carrier that you need to protect with a lantern and to reposition and stuff like that. So you definitely do have ways to work around it.
Degree, yeah.
And then also to your point on the set pick, he will have to be careful because the way that Ornn is unstoppable using Bellower's Breath, so the way the set ultimate works is whenever he grabs somebody, if he doesn't actually take anybody with him, he doesn't get the bonus damage that he would pick up. So the way set ultimate works, for those of you that don't know, is whoever he grabs, he gets bonus damage based on their max HP. He has a set value. But it does bonus damage based on whoever he grabs. So if he grabs Ornn and Ornn is unstoppable, he won't get the bonus damage when he lands. So that ultimate impact damage is going to be much, much less if Ornn is playing properly.
Yeah, but quick thing, is that a Rumble mid? Is it a Rumble mid lane instead of a Viego jungle?
It looks like it is. I'm excited for that, but I don't know how well that's going to work into a Zoe, personally.
I think Rumble can be a champion that can be picked against us. So it's kind of because Rumble was typically used before previously against champions like Syndra or Oriana. That can, although they can push, they are not really mobile, so they are at risk sometimes of getting hit by the Rumble E as well as the flamethrower. They are susceptible to those kinds of things.
Right.
And Zoe, it's kind of in the same degree. Obviously, she has her ultimate to kind of reposition, and she has more access to Flash and other summoners, but she's in the same vein in that regard. So I think Rumble could have a really good time. What I'm more worried about is the Viego, because Viego, it's not a jungler that I typically see, and I don't believe he's a jungler that has a really good clear speed in comparison to other junglers. So I think that Graves can try and put Viego in a bad position really early on. And if that happens, then this composition can suffer so much come mid-game.
Right. The other one last note, and then we'll go to a short break here. Actually, realizing Rumble actually might be picked to stop Zoe from roaming, since he will have a lot of early game shove over the Zoe. Zoe is going to have to use those paddle stars to clear the waves. So I can actually see how the Rumble might be pretty good into Zoe. We'll have to see how that matchup works out, but we will be right back, guys, after the spectator delay. Don't go anywhere. Alrighty, guys, welcome back. We are now underway in the inaugural match for the Freshman League here between University of Southern California and Omega Titan Esports. Just going over the players here to kind of introduce the players. We have Django AD playing Ornn in the top lane, Damon in the jungle on Graves, Meteorite playing Zoe in the mid lane, USC Inferno.
Lulu.
Get out here.
Yeah.
Paying attention there. USC Inferno on Jinx in AD carry. Lynn going to be surrounding at the team comp with Lulu support. Representing red side, we have Sleepyhead, on set in the top lane. Yoroshiku playing Jungle Viego. Flyer 666 in Rumble mid lane. Circlet on the AD carry Ezreal, and he's going to be supported by I'm Berkai on Thresh. And, you know, we kind of talked about just different champion interactions and stuff like that, but in your mind, who wins the early game? And then in the transition to the mid game, who do you think will have the lead transitioning into the mid game and why?
Previously, if it was Rumble Jungle, I would have wholly said that it was going to be the side of OMT that would be going into the mid game with an advantage. But now with the Viego, I need to see how the team play around him and how he is going to path. Because if he is going to go for an early gank or trying to outclear the Graves, it's going to decide who will have the advantage and who will be moving into the mid game with a better advantage. I think that because of that, USC should be moving pretty comfortably into the mid game with maybe not an advantage, but on equal ground. And if that's the case, I think that they have a better composition for front-to-back teamfights that they should be able to win. Was wide.
A lot of damage coming out of UFC Inferno there as he actually stood behind that last caster minion pretty perfectly. made the caster minion tank that hook from Berkai.
Yeah, that was the difference between getting that trade or being the one traded on.
Sleepyhead going to be going in, going to be able to pull it back, and actually getting the stun onto Django AD there.
Yeah, and one of the things that we're not seeing much is that the Rumble, although he will get more damage the more that he gets points of his Q, but right now the Zoe is the one that is pushing the wave, and if that's the case, maybe she can begin supporting the Graves early on in. They're kind of preparing. If you see, the Viego is kind of going bot lane already.
Yeah, he is looking to make a gank. Bot lane, it seems like, and here comes the flash play. It's going to happen to Berkai. Oh, USC Inferno is actually just trying to fight right onto Circlet. The exhaust comes out. Lynn is very, very low. Lynn is going to fall here. Circlet is very low. Will he go down? The rockets are coming out. The wards, the flash over the wall. The shield's going to keep him alive temporarily. Will be enough. Yes, will. Circlet survives. Graves now coming back into the bot side as well, but he is going to have to back off as while his Meteorite, his mid laners here, Flyers on the way still.
What a great play by both Berkai and Yoroshiku. They get the kill on the Lulu as early as they can, and because the Viego can take away the soul from the Lulu, he's then able to put the shield on top of the...
Interrupting, but Damon is a fight going through. The near side is going to come out, and Yoroshiki's very, very low. Meteorite's going to flash forward very aggressively, does have the fake flash as well, and Yoroshiki's still alive, finally goes down with the hook. It was long enough where the hook goes through. They were able to take him out with Rumble. Damon is going to be running for his life, able to dodge the Electro Harpoon, and he is going to be able to walk his way out. And that's really good for Flyer 666 as he's able to make it back and catch that wave right as it crashes into the mid tower.
Yeah, not only that, we were talking about who would be really happy about getting that advantage before entering the game. And look at that, Rumble now has a 1-0 lead with 2 stacks on his Darksteel, and he still has the flash. So the Zoe now doesn't have flash. If you're able to get on top of her with Yoroshiku on the Viego and Flyer on the Rumble, you will more than likely get that kill.
Yeah, and also another thing we were talking about as we were muted is the that Flyer 666 is actually having the lane advantage over Meteorite with that Flame Spitter whenever he chooses. Being able to hit the entire wave constantly like that really rips through. And without enough AP from Meteorite, not able to clear those caster minions with the Battlestar is just not strong enough. Also, Berkai faking a gank, but interesting.
It was kind of cute. Maybe that way he gets something, like maybe he puts fear on them, and maybe that way they can get a really cheeky kill or something like that. But
it's warded.
He doesn't lose anything. Yeah.
It's warded. Here comes the hook. It is going to land on the Jinx and the flay back. The shield is going to tank a lot of the damage. That's more of why I was laughing. Like they just gained lane control, so it's safe to assume that your opponent has that warded up. So making a play like that is very not questionable. Like, you don't lose anything for making that play other
Yeah,
than
I
like a
feel
little
like
bit of mana,
that's the
but
case because he doesn't lose anything. Like he pretty much can just go for that. But like you're saying, if that's worth it, then it's pretty much meaningless. But
right.
like that's why I feel like it's really cute. Like if you pull it up, then yeah, it's perfect. If not, then it was fun to see, at least for us.
A little bit of a trade going through as the cleanse, and the Drowsy actually going to go through Electro Harpoon right as he falls asleep,
Oh
and
no.
auto attack going to go through. Flyer going to overheat himself, but he's totally fine.
They have, yeah, and now they're trying. They seem to be trying to put a little bit more focus bot lane with the Graves going there. I feel like top
Ooh.
lane is going to be really ignored right now.
Which is actually kind of surprising. Oh, good unstoppable there to cancel out the stun from Sleepyhead. So Flyer going to be getting engaged on
Flyer?
by Damon. Going to have to flash away immediately as Graves was waiting in the brush.
Yeah, really well done, and that's a really good thing about with the Vision. They have really good control of bot side River, but they are going for a play.
Here comes Viego, and again, using
Oh, he
that
got it.
harrowing path. He gets the flay back onto him, and the hook landed. Lin is going to fall, and Circlet picks up the kill. And I'm actually kind of surprised that they're putting so much pressure into bot lane. Like, I understand why they're doing it, but I just would not have expected it. But I guess if your Thresh is that good, then it makes sense that you're gonna be able to successfully gank bot lane over and over again.
Yeah, and one of the most surprising thing for me is that they have really
I
good
hate to
control.
interrupt you, but Drowsy comes through. Equalizer is going to go through as well, and Flyer's going to be able to survive. No, the scrap shield fell off right as Meteorite's auto landed, and he's going to go through. Now the Showstopper is going to be able to pull him back to Django 80, flashing right at the impact or point of impact damage there. So he is not going to die, but will expend the flash.
Yeah, and I guess that was the reason why they picked Zoe. Really well done by Meteorite right there. The play that he pulled off, he was able to get a solo kill against a Rumble that had Hextech Alternator, and the Zoe just had, I think, an Amtone. That was it. And it was really well done by Meteorite. And then on top side, really well done by Sleepyhead to get the flash out of the Ornn. And now both of these top laners have TP, so if they try to pull something off in bot lane, the set will have the flash advantage as well.
Absolutely. And it is Sleepyhead making sure that he can't get any kind of pressure for Django AD. They dash away as well,
So
but
scared.
yeah, he has to play so scared.
Yeah.
Though, using those volcanic ruptures to CS there. Also, Drowsy landing on to the Rumble, but it is going to hit the minions here. I'm Burkai is going to be here as well.
Doesn't have flashes still.
Meteorite running towards Lin. The Guardian going to proc, but Meteorite ultimately not going to lose anything there.
Yeah, she pretty much should be able to secure the wave. One of the things that should be noted is that even with the solo kill on the Rumble, he's still ahead a bit in CS, so he didn't lose that much. The matchup is still pretty much equal in terms of the goal between these two laners. They both have TP also, so they won't be able. They will be able to impact the side lanes if they choose to do so. And also one other thing that I think we didn't mention is that the side from ONT were able to secure the first Drake, so that is something that can be a win condition for them if they get an early soul or an early impactful Drake like that. Then it can be really good for them.
Absolutely. Sorry, I had to sneeze there for a second. Also,
okay.
we talked about another champion. We talked about having an early lead. Flyer is going to be taking a lot of damage here. Going to be able to dodge the panel. Equalizer and the scrap shield coming through, but the flash. Damn! No. It's going down the slow from the equalizer and the tower shots, almost ending this man where he stood. But now here we see Yurishika going through. He does the ultimate. He is going to ult forward. Does pick up the kill onto Graves here. The paddle. Does hit him with the sleepy trouble bubble though. Meteorite going forward as chunking him for about 2/3 of his HP. Yuroshiku almost going down the hook lands on to Lin. Here comes the ultimate from Imberkai has to flash away. Lin is very low. Here comes the exhausted teleport coming out from Ornn. He takes the lantern all the way out. Django is going to get his teleport canceled, and to be perfectly honest, it's probably for the better for Django, as Imberkai and Circlet were already out of that encounter.
Yeah, but now, if they try to pull something off, a dive or something like that, Sleepyhead can go there. Oh, wait, Drowsy?
He is going to land, and it looks like Flyer is going to be chunked very low there. Imberkai going with it. Oh, he does hit the death sentence! He's going to take it back, and the flay comes through. His shield coming down as well, so actually that's not going to be pretty much any damage there, as Graves is just waiting in the wings. Circlet, they're now in trouble here as the Arcane shifts forward. Here comes the ultimate out from Lin, and meanwhile, Imber-Kai is going to be taken down by Damon. Here comes the Zap as well, and Circlet trying to do anything that he can, but it doesn't matter. The Get Excited comes through, and USC Inferno going to be credited with that kill.
Yeah, really well done by the side from USC. They were able to wait. Oh, wait, Flyer? Okay, I thought there was going to be something else there. But yeah, on the bot lane, really well done by the bot lane from USC. They were able to just wait the death sentence from the Thresh, and with that, even when they don't die, then the counter engage from them can be really good. The Lulu boost for the Jinx is really useful, and the ultimate also from the Lulu was able to save the life from the Jinx when the Ezreal decided to dash.
I hate to interrupt you, but Flyer almost just died to Super Mega Death Rocket from Jinx, surviving with about 20 HP off screen.
Okay, yeah, that is something that I wish I had. If the Jinx is able to pull it off, amazing.
It did hit. It didn't kill him.
It didn't do the damage. Wow, that's
yeah,
really
it brought him down to about 50 HP left. So very unfortunate.
Yeah, one quick thing that I want to point out also is that on bot lane, they try to go for this place, and if the Yoroshku on the Viego is not close by, they don't really have really good control. Now they are beginning to clear it up, but previously they didn't have that kind of control on bot lane, so they were more susceptible to this kind of plays. Wait, Meteorite?
Meteorite is going to be stunned up, flayed down, and Meteorite trying to get away, but he gets hooked immediately. Nice. Meteorite gets the sleepy trouble bubble, but the cage kills him.
Yeah, this duo is really nice to see. I want to see this more. Yoroshku with Imber-Kai on the Thresh, they should try and move around more and get those kind of picks. I feel like if they try to pull this off, especially with the Rumble, they should be able to secure more kills and be able to secure more vision on the enemy jungle.
Also, Sleepyhead pushing the wave in to get a recall before this dragon spawns just in case he's needed, or he actually looks like he might just be running straight down.
He has the TP advantage. I'm surprised if he decides to just run. I think like he can join really easily with the TP and still put pressure on top lane. But yeah, everyone seems to be going into the dragon.
Since he only has 800 gold in his pocket, so he wants to be able to recall after this play and then TP back top lane. But Orin's on the way already, and Yoroshika is waiting in the wings, and they should know he's there, or at least have an idea that he's there. And he is going to show himself now.
Yeah,
this might be the first big team fight we see. Equalizer is ready. All of the ultimates are waiting. We have Call of the Forge God will probably be the opener if I had to guess, as the dragon is started. Sleepyhead brought very, very low is going to have a massive here. And actually here comes Call of the Forge God is going to get a double man knock of Yoroshika's very, very low. Equalizer in a terrible spot, I hate to say. Flyer is going to be going swept. And here comes this dash to the side. Doesn't actually get the impact damage as it wasn't onto any other members. And so far, nobody has died yet. Sleepyhead is at like 5 HP. End of the line doesn't kill Imber-Kai either. And they're absolutely routed. But they're alive. Nobody's died. Circlet's going to be able to get away. He's going to have to flash away from the knockup, though, as Lin and co are there. Damon waiting onto the backside for a potential dive as Meteorite gets shielded for all of the damage from Circlet. The recalls are coming out, but will it be in time? The flash coming out, and the death sentence gonna miss. They know Damon's there, but he doesn't know if it's warded. Imber-Kai, and they're gonna have to back out here. They have so much dive potential here.
Zed has to be. If they try to pull something, Zed can go.
And they're just gonna back off and play it safe. How did nobody die?
I don't know. I thought for sure Sleepyhead was going to die, but he survived with so little health that I don't know how he survived. But overall, I think it was such a good fight. Everyone played that really well, but I think that because everyone played it really well, nobody ended up dying.
Because there was only one mistake that I saw, which actually did deny USC of a kill, and that was Damon using end of the line to try to get a double kill, and kind of greeted for that instead of just going for the guarantee. Yeah, instead of going for set. He might have assumed that he had Haymaker back up yet, but he had just used it, so it wasn't quite up just yet.
I think maybe he thought that something was going to be able to get the last tick on the set before he actually was able to run away, but they did. I don't think like they have anything with tick damage yet. At least before the set gets the echo or the ambush.
Collateral damage. My bad.
Collateral damage. Yeah, but I think he thought maybe something was going to get the finishing touches on that kill, but nothing happened, and because of that, he ended up wasting it on 2 other members.
Right.
Overall, it's a win for the side of OMT just because they were able to secure the Drake.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And that's the second Drake, and we're only 14, almost 15 minutes in the game.
Infernal Soul.
Yes. Unstoppable going to be used through, and actually here comes the stun to cancel the dash,
Wait,
and that's going to be a very dead Ornn. Now Damon is going to be in trouble here. He is going to be getting run down, but Sleepyhead doesn't have the speed as he is slowed from the red buff.
He didn't consider his Bami Cinder. I think that did the damage for the turret to begin focusing on him. And because of that, he ended up being just an easy target for the set to get the kill. Even with the cancel. Oh.
Rocket's coming out onto Circlet, but... And actually, Rocket's not dealing as much damage.
He went for Gale Force. So
it does make sense, but...
he lost a little bit of damage with that instead of going for the Kraken Slayer. But I think he's really afraid of the Viego and the set if they ever get on top of him.
You know, I understand why you're going the Gale Force here to reposition against, you know, things like the Equalizer from Rumble or the Heartbreaker from Viego, and being able to dodge that, or even just dodging the Death Sentence from Thresh, but you do lose a lot of damage. I guess they do have plenty of damage both in DPS and burst, and here comes the Heartbreaker over the wall for Yoroshiko.
Yeah, that should be the Herald. I'm surprised that I think this is the first Herald of the game. They didn't put any focus on that.
Well, we are going to be looking to transition into the mid game here. Do you expect any kind of shenanigans or people being caught out for picks to generate a lead, or do you expect both teams to kind of flawlessly transition into the mid game?
The good thing for OMT is that they have a lot of leeway just because they picked up the 2 Drakes, so they can decide what they want to do. They can either go for the Drakes and try and get the soul point as early as they can, or they can just leave the set on a side lane with the Rumble and the Viego shadowing him so that he can get further ahead of the Ornn and try and get more turrets and more standing gold that is still up in the map. So I think if it was up to me, I think they should go and focus on the Drake, because if they get the Infernal Soul, it's just that easy to try and delete the Jinx and the Zoe, even with a Lulu on the enemy team. Or even the Lulu, they can delete that champion so easily if they get that Infernal Soul. But I think they can also just put the resources on the state on the side lane and try and get something. But I feel like they are preparing for the Drake.
Here comes the teleport from Zoe. It looks like they're going to try to make some sort of play happen mid lane here, as Damon does.
They have Herald.
Does have the Rift Herald, as I was about to say. He pops and he's actually going to get Death Sentence. A great shot there from I'm Berkai, but the Drowsy lands, and here comes the Showstopper. Damon's trying to get away. The shield break pops. He survives for so much longer. Does get the full damage out, though, as Lyn is going to survive temporarily. The knockup is
nice.
Yoroshiko jumps the wall, being very, very low, though. Super Mega Death Rock snipes out. Rumble off the backside, though. Circlet trying to be able to do some damage. The zap is going to land onto Circlet. Lyn is going to be waiting in the backside here as they are going forward. Meteorite going to be dropping the ultimate and does hit onto Sleepyhead, but it's not going to be enough. Yoroshiko jumps back over the wall. The dragon is not started just yet, and Yoroshiko flashing and takes him down. Is going to be able to transform into the gets the polymorph off as well, as doesn't finish it up down through the backside. Sleepyhead going to hit the haymaker, and he's going to take the lantern to safety, and Circlet with that finished repositioning with arcane shift. Zap not quite going to land here. And Ornn trying to recall, but here comes the teleport from Rumble. Rumble will have Equalizer up for the second time in one fight in just a second here. And will it be dropped? There it is! It's the Equalizer. Flash being burned by Inferno and Meteorite, and here comes the rockets over the wall into Sleepyhead. Damon has now rejoined the fight as well. Paddlestar going to hit into the Flyer, but it does not have the damage it needs. Mystic Shot going to be dodged away from by Graves here, and that is a very long extended fight. Should be the third over to OMT.
Rush Chris back up. I think he should be able to run and get here, but Graves is still in the vicinity. Yeah, they putting the ward up. They should be able to secure this Drake. I think the Graves shouldn't be able to sell it. Yeah, with this, now they are at soul point, and like you were saying, such a prolonged fight. But one of the important things for me in that fight is that, well, first of all, Yoroshku that was so with so many fancy feet in the fight, because he was able to skirt around the fight so easily. With his ultimate, he was able to run away from the Zoe, and then because he didn't die, he was able to re-engage on top of the Lulu and kill her as well. That actually made the fight so good for the side of OMT, because if he dies in that fight, then Lulu buffing up the Jinx with the resets should have been able to run over the side from the OMT. I feel
absolutely. It was definitely a battle of inches, and unfortunately, Yoroshiko is just a couple inches better.
Yeah, that felt like that. But also one of the things that I thought it was important was the blue buff on Circlet. If Circlet didn't have that blue buff, he could have run out of mana at any point in that fight. This still feels so close. This is still so close. It's not, I think, just one kid killed the... Oh, wait, line?
Polymorph does come out, and Yorushika is going to have to ult away here with the Unstoppable. Equalizer in the box, though. Meteorite going to get Flay. No, the Flay's actually going to miss, and so will the box. Meteorite trying to run away, but does get hit by the Death Sentence, and one last auto attack Flyer going to take him down.
Yeah, really well done. They went for two kinds of play in two different sides of the map, with Yoroshiku going on top of line. He was able to run away, and then, because the... what is it called? The... Oh, wait, said Sleepyhead?
Sleepyhead is going to be taking a little bit of damage, but a full Haymaker actually going to miss. Damon is taking a lot of damage. Mystic Shot after Mystic Shot. Going to have to dash over the wall here. Yeah,
they forced out also the Wild Growth from the Lulu, so that is also when... Like, they were able to protect the turret for some important cooldowns from the side of USC, and also now they have position with the Rumble that should have Equalizer really soon.
Absolutely. That Death Sentence this time is going to miss, and Circlet not going to go for... the tower there, probably rightfully so. Here is the Horn coming out. It is going to hit Thresh, but the Equalizer going to split the team. Django can't get into the backside. Damon's going to have to dash over the wall. Uses the... Oh, he's actually going to get stunned up. The shield's going to be able to dash over the wall, but will he fall? One last auto attack from Zoe takes him down here. The flash away by Lin from Sleepyhead, as Sleepyhead going to back off temporarily now. Does grab the Graves here as Meteorite trying to reposition, trying to get a Sleepy Trouble Bubble, but unfortunately this Zoe can't really do anything in these fights, and that's kind of what I was afraid of, is there's really no targets for you to assassinate, that you can assassinate consistently in this early and mid game here. Circlet takes a bit of damage there, but he's going to be fine as well.
Yeah, and like you're saying with the Zoe, the most reasonable target to try and kill would be the Ezreal, but Ezreal, just because of his kit, he pretty much has every type of advantage to try and survive from the Zoe. And the other one would probably be the Viego, but because he went for the Immortal Shield Bow, he has the shield that could prevent him from dying before he actually is able to just use his cooldowns. So that also kind of makes the Zoe's life harder to try and pull it off. So this is kind of the thing that we were, like you were saying, we were worried about with the Zoe. And if the enemy team is a little bit ahead or has a little bit more advantage than the Zoe, her life is just so difficult to play around this game.
Absolutely, and that's kind of what's happening right now. Is it's not that she's behind, but she's just ever so slightly behind. So it doesn't feel like it's as impactful as it could be. But then again, we'll just have to wait until the transition towards the late game to really see what this turns out. Zoe obviously only sitting at that. The sentence does land, going in, hit the Flay here. The Lantern is going to be used, and not going to get the slow from the box though, as Meteorite trying to, and does succeed with walking away.
Yeah, she didn't hit the sleeve, so I thought they were probably going to be able to try and secure something. She's on a ward. She doesn't know this. Okay, no, they didn't go for the Zoe. I thought Meteorite was going to kind of focused on, but one of the things that I want to quickly point out is look at the vision on the bot side from the side of OP. They have complete control of the river, apart from one little ward from the blue side. Apart from that, everything is completely controlled.
Here comes the knockup. The Haymaker's not going to be able to do anything. He's going back to ult onto the Orange, trying to get away, but he gets a double knockup as well from Django. Here comes the clap, and there's the stun coming through, but Sleepyhead is going to fall. Ornn picks up the kill, unfortunately, as it would have been better on Jinx, but not the worst. As oh my gosh, Circlet actually arcane shifted over the Sleepy Trouble level, takes him down. That was a fantastic play from Circlet, dashing over the balls on this man, as the knockup does land onto Yorushika. And now Graves going on to Flyer. The flash from Damon, but he dodges the Equalizer temporarily. Flyer going to be... almost takes him down, but no, Flyer falls! And this is going to be the hook landing onto Lin. Will he take it? No, he won't. But Circlet going to be throwing Mystic Shot after Mystic Shot, dealing so much poke damage. They are going to be routed. They are trying to run away here, but the rest of USC trying to get back in as this Dragon is going to be started up. It is going to be a 3v4 set. Does not have teleport, as Lin takes almost half her HP from a single Mystic Shot. The teleport coming down from Zoe as well. Zap hitting Circlet, and the Dragon resets. Circlet, very, very greedy, very scary situation to knock him. Not going to land as Django slightly miscalculated the positioning. Meteorite's going through, and that's a double kill. He hits a double banana. Meteorite going to be hit by another Mystic Shot off the backside. Here comes the teleport from Flyer. Flyer does have that equalizer as of right now. Triple kill coming out for Ezreal. Damon gonna get suplexed, and he is gonna be taken out of the fight by Sleepyhead. A little bit of an early smite, but it doesn't matter, and that's gonna be 4-0 in favor of OMT.
That should be Baron. There's no chance that they should be able to deny the Baron from this. There's also no Super Mega Death Rocket, so there shouldn't be any chance to steal this. But I gotta say this, Circlet is a monster. What a team fight from him. He hit almost every Mystic shot. He was able to play around the Ornn. And yeah, Django missed that knockup, but even if he hits it, I don't think there's any follow-up that can come through with that. And then Circlet was able to just get 2 kills with the 2-shot barrage, and then he just from far away was able to get so much damage. Ezreal this game has been so impactful just because of how much damage he's able to get with his Mystic shot, with the True Shot barrage, with his E. He's able to reposition so easily, and overall the teamfights from him have been so good to watch.
Yeah, and this is looking pretty dire if you're a USC fan here. OMT just playing phenomenally right now, playing around their win conditions so well, and shutting down the key members. And you know, we talked about it a little bit, but it just to me at least, it feels like it's a little bit of a draft diff strictly in the mid lane, as far as Rumble just being so much more useful than this Zoe.
He's alone on top.
He is alone. That is a big minion wave, though. He's going to be going on, and here comes the suplex onto the B side. Meteorite going to be brought very, very low. The Super Mega Death Rocket not going to be enough as the Sleepy... Sleepy going to fall. One last auto. Meteorite almost fell, though, as the banana barely going to miss. Meteorite does tag Damon, but it's not enough to scare him.
Yeah, a little bit too aggressive from a Sleepyhead, especially because he did back. So I think he still had some gold left to be able to secure. And he just wanted the turret, but I think it's still okay. They still have everything to be able to push down USC and be able to get more objectives through that as well. But one thing that I want to note is that this was the kind of the early game plan from the side of OMT. They focused bot lane so that they could get the Ezreal and the Thresh ahead. Oh, wait, Ornn.
Here comes the Ornn. Horn is going to be able to... Well, Flyer's going to burn the flash to not go down there.
Yeah.
But I actually, you know, whenever you have Baron, just running it down for a tower does not... It's almost never worth it, especially when it's an outer tower that you can just back off for a single wave and let the minions finish off when it's that low. I think it's very greedy of Sleepyhead to take that down, especially since Baron is almost halfway gone now, and he's just now respawned. So, I don't think that's a very good play, especially when the tower would have gone down like 30 seconds later, if that, and your death timers are over 40.
So because he has TP, he could have impacted more just by backing, getting items, and then rejoining the map. But because of that, it was a little bit of pressure. Oh wait, Damon?
It's going to be very, very low. Going to have to be going golden here, and Damon going to be able to get away the shield. Though it is going to be a proc, though, and Django is very, very low, and he is actually going to go down to the true shot with... Oh, suplex actually over the wall. Meteorite is going to get buffed up here. Sentence actually gets the Q off, or gets the kill off in time, and that is going to be 2 members dead for USC.
Yeah, and if they had, luckily for the side of USC, the bot lane is still pushing away from them, so they cannot force the turrets, but they will march down mid lane. They have the Baron buff, and they have 2 more members. The Ezreal in these skirmishes is going to feel so happy, and their equalizer is back up.
Absolutely, the death sentence going to miss there as the tower, the inhibitor tower in mid lane going to fall. Inhib is now going to be the target, should go down without any kind of problems. Death sentence going to go a little wide.
But they should just leave them be. They cannot re-engage to this, especially with the Ornn. Okay, wait, Ornn has TP. Maybe they can try and
pull off lands on it to Lulu, and here comes the flay. Inferno is super, super low. The Lulu is going to be completely assassinated. Thresh going to go down as a consolation prize, so they are going to trade supports here, but Inferno has to recall, can no longer continue forward. Ezreal got hit by the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Will it be enough? No, she missed the Battle Star! Completely didn't even use the Paddle Star properly. Damon is going to be very, very low, and he is going to fall. No. Not sure why he went that far forward. Just a desperation attempt at this point.
You have to feel that it is. It just has to be the desperation. Oof, nice damage, but that's a set.
It's a set, and it's... Yeah.
It's just so hard for the side of USC.
It feels so bad for Zoe, too, because like this is not a great team for her to be poking into, and it's just so hard for her to actually poke into this team on top of it.
Yeah, like, and the thing is, Zoe can. This is the type of games that if you pick Zoe, she 3-0 by 15 minutes, because that way she can actually be really impactful. She can take down some of these targets if they are not ahead, and she is really ahead. But because she isn't, she's really susceptible to champions like the Rumble, like the Ezreal, like the Zed, like the like the Viego as well. That if they get on top of her, she dies, and she cannot be impactful. So
It's just
it's
so
just
easy to get on top of her with
yeah,
this team as well, so that makes it just that much harder.
yeah.
Django is level 14 though, so he is going to be able to start getting those
Jinx got it.
team upgrades now, and Jinx got the first one, which makes sense.
Yeah, if that was a Kraken Slayer, I feel like it would have been even better. But obviously, giving the upgrade to no,
Demon is going to be flayed back, going to be pulled back, hook in a land right as he gets suplexed, and Ezreal going to be credited with that kill. 9-1, and you know what? They were happy to lose 3 bans to keep this AD carry, and it's really going.
Makes sense.
Grouse
Nice
going to
damage.
land onto him, but mistimed it slightly, but doesn't really matter as he is going to be able to get out safely.
Yeah, the poke is just for at least for Viego is just laughable. He can now lifesteal with the Silver Drake, and if they get the Silver Drake, I don't think there's really much chance for USC to try and win this game. But Damon is down; they shouldn't be able to steal it.
Absolutely, and if there is a win condition for USC, how do they come back in this game? They're 10,000 gold behind, and actually we'll talk about it in a second here as we see the flash or the dash over. Oh my God, Speed goes down. Lin gonna have to ult herself there as the banana goes a little wide now. Sleepyhead is gonna look to be in pursuit, but does get hit by the zap. Meteorite got popped.
Yeah, it was Equalizer with death sentence with just instant death. There wasn't much chance, and there was no Elder Drake yet. The Elder Drake didn't die, so
yes, but it was Infernal Soul, so it was a lot of extra pop damage from so many different members.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure, but maybe Ezreal can one-shot someone with just an E and a Q right now. I think he should be able to pull it off.
WQ definitely should, and that's going to be Arcane Shift forward circlet, doing a lot of damage onto Graves, and Graves just barely trying to survive. The flash forward here, not going to be enough as the Equalizer drops the suplex into the backside as Sleepyhead trying to deal as much damage as he possibly can, trying to get the execute, but just probably won't be enough. Sleepyhead is going to be able to pull in 3, but doesn't get a kill onto any of them. Inferno gets hooked and goes down. Django is now going to be in trouble, taking a lot of damage, but he is going to be right on the fountain here. So tanky. Finally gets executed. The Dragon claims 2 souls. They trade back for the Jinx, which was Viego, but Hook Death Sentence going to last. And that's just padding stats at this point. Congratulations to OMT. They are going to be the Game 1 victors, at least. We'll have to see how USC looks to try to adapt for Game 2. And I think that the first adaptation that they'll make is going to be in draft phase.
Yeah, that certainly has to be the case. Specifically, trying to give their mid laner a little bit more power to play, because I feel like Meteorite was playing well. Even with the Zoe, he had moments that he could have done much, and I feel like he got a solo kill on mid lane. He was able to get a couple of fights that he was able to deal a lot of damage and things like that. But I feel like because they were in such a bad position, they didn't have control of certain areas, and the team fights just became harder and harder for Zoe. So if they give him a champion that can play those team fights a little bit more easily and a little bit more controlled, then maybe they can have a better chance in the next game. But I want to give full props to the side of OMT, because I think like playing around bot lane, now we see it, but I think playing around bot lane made total sense for them, because they were able to free up Amber Kai so that he could assist the other lanes more, and also Circlet was always in a good position. I feel like they played a lot around Circlet in the sense that they gave him the ability to play safely as well as play how he wanted to play. I don't feel like he ever was pressured into a bad position, even in teamfights that were kind of hard for them.
Right. No, I agree with you. And I mean, he played phenomenally. We can just look at the damage charts, and that's disgusting. I don't think that the mid laner, I don't think that Meteorite played poorly. I just don't think that the Zoe pick was necessarily the right call for the team comp, especially with what they were playing against. And, I didn't like it when they picked it during draft either, but it's there's always going to be mistakes here and there. I expect them to change up their draft in the upcoming game, but we'll have to see what they value in the change up. So don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to set up for game number 2 here, and we will be right back. Alrighty, guys, welcome back after that first electrifying game between OMT and USC. Will USC be able to clap back and bring a win and bring this game to a 3-game series? Or will OMT close it out and get revenge for their earlier tournament loss against USC? The bans are coming through, and again, OMT is going to be losing these first 3 bans out of all of these games due to an E-sub in the AD carry position, which we talked about in Game 1, but Gwen going to come out and be that first ban, much like the first draft here. Not expecting anything different for USC's first ban.
Yeah, and specifically because they're now on red side, I feel like it's going to be more logical for them to ban certain champions like the Wen. I expect Lee Sin, and Yone as well. I thought Yone was probably going to go as well, but I think it's just an after effect of the previous game, since we saw Yone being able to impact so much the early game, getting so many early ganks off in the bot lane, and then in teamfights being able to impact so much just because of the way that his passive works, being able to just disappear and becoming vulnerable for us a couple of seconds. It was really useful. And now the last ban, I'm interested if they're going to leave the Lee Sin open, or if they're going to leave a champion that previously they didn't want to ban, like the Woodier or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Lee Sin definitely can be oppressive, like you were talking about, but I think the Viego ban was a good pickup here, and I think USC has realized that the pressure that he was able to provide. Oh, the Ezreal ban, which I like that adaptation personally.
I'm surprised just because I feel like that just means that you can't play Ezreal, because I don't think that that's a champion that you typically see first pick. That even if you know that it's strong, I feel like that's a champion that you leave open because there's so many AD carries that can come through and even fight against the Ezreal to a certain degree. So that just means that you can either play the Ezreal or you don't have anything that you feel comfortable enough to play against the Ezreal. And because of that,
I think it was more of they wanted. I think they're trying to bait out the Lee Sin pick here personally.
Will they have something to play against the Lee Sin? That's another thing. That may be true, but we have to see if they have something specific, because there's certain champions that can kind of play against the Lee Sin, set to a certain degree, kind of go.
Well, they already picked Thresh, which is one of those champions.
Yeah, Thresh is good, but the problem is that if you're picking that against the Lee Sin, then on bot lane you can now get countered if you have a good champion against the Thresh as well. So
right.
it makes sense, but in the draft it can just leave you open to other things that can then punish you. And maybe OMT is a team that plays more towards bot lane, so now you're playing against a team that wants to go towards bot lane and giving away certain advantages to that specific lane.
Right, I think also the Thresh pickup was to also be a takeaway against OMT, and that's interesting. So that's traditionally a counter pick to Leona, is Thresh.
I'm surprised. Whoa, okay, and Quinn.
Instant lock-in by Quinn, by the way.
This was banned. On the previous game, this was banned on second rotation, where when OMT had bans, they wanted to ban that Queen. So it kind of makes sense that they are going for it now, just because they don't want OMT to ban it again on second rotation. So I kind of understand it, but it was too quick. I don't think they even hesitated to be able to pick that Queen.
I mean, it is his best champion. Looking at it right now, 43 ranked games in solo queue, at least with a 63% win rate in D2. Nothing to scoff at. And they are going to be banning away. It looks like they're going to be putting a lot of pressure into top lane. Malphite being banned, obviously, right away. And the Rumble actually going to be banned, not wanting to have that 36-second equalizer where he equalizes, dies, revives, teleports, equalizes again. They just don't want to deal with that this time.
Rinse and repeat. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a fun process at all. But interestingly, we see that 3 of the last game's champions were banned. Ezreal, Viego, and Rumble got taken away this round. I'm surprised they don't go for the Rumble themselves, especially because they have the first pick, right? So they could have just opted to take the Rumble. Maybe they don't feel comfortable with that as either. And they also take away the Galio.
Right. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm not seeing anybody from the side of USC that really plays the Rumble. So I think it's more of going to be a
comfort thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of just a ban away since nobody plays it. And on top of that, there's always the argument of like, yeah, you're taking it away, But if you don't play it and you're taking it away, then it's not useful.
And Zac is picked instead. I think this is the first Zac we're going. Just because the champion, it's not that it was weak. It's a champion that just feels a little bit worse than most meta champions, and you can just pretty much pick that champion if you want to. But champions like Udyr are still up, and I'm surprised that Zac had priority over those champions. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Zac is able to do. Zac is such a versatile champion to try and get ganks off and try and impact lanes early on. So I want to see if USC can be more proactive than what they try and did in the previous game. And also OMT going for the Kennen. So that means that Lee Sin is not at least top lane.
Yep. Also, I actually like the Zac pickup here personally, okay. And the reason for that is, I actually do. The gank patterns that it provides are very, very strong, and they're not very conventional. So yeah, looks like that's a Kennen mid and a Lee Sin top, if I had to guess.
Okay, yeah, that could be the options. The funny thing is that there could be a world. It's Xin Zhao jungler, a Kennen mid, and Lee Sin top.
Or it could be a Lee Sin mid and a Kennen top, depending upon what this matchup is for the lock-in. The Sylas, actually, that I don't believe that would actually be that bad for Lee Sin of a matchup. So interested to see how that works out, and where they decide to go. I mean, I guess it could be a Xin Zhao in top lane or mid lane. That would be an old school pick back to like really season 3. Really yeah. I mean, that is very, very interesting here.
Last game we saw OMT going for the Rumble mid when we thought that it was to be a Rumble jungle. So maybe this game they also surprise us with a pick over in one of those lanes that we don't expect at all.
Right, and I mean we're underway in the actual in-game champ selects. We'll be able to tell you where those picks are going in just a minute here. But back to the Zac pickup. I actually really like the Zac pickup. It's actually very strong in like pretty much all game. The only downside of it is if you're expecting it from OMT, which obviously they should be expecting it, they can see the champion. There's a couple early places that Zacs will engage from that are not necessarily conventional. So you have to change your warding patterns to accommodate that. If you do, you can shut down Zac's early game, which is very, very detrimental for Zac. He kind of has to get a successful gank or two off in the early game to have a smooth transition to the mid game. So I'm really curious to see how he's going to manage to do that into a team that is expecting him, that is going to play at a high level. But if he is able to pick off, or if he is able to get a successful early gank or two off, I think the Zac is going to do absolute wonders for USC.
Yeah, and one of the things that I like from the side of USC, apart like you were saying from Zac, that can be so useful, is that they have three really good champions that can accompany the Zac if he tries to engage. So the Kai'Sa is a perfect AD carry to try and just dive the backline, the same with Sylas, and Queen to some degree as well. So at least you have kind of a good team identity to try and force things with the Zac. It's not just one champion that is going to go alone and the rest will see from afar, but it's everyone having the same mindset of trying to go in and kill someone. At least in that regard, I think USC has a lot of potency and a lot of good ideas. One of the things that I'm worrying about is, like you were saying with the Zac, he needs to pull up the first two to three ganks off to be able to keep up to a decent early game. And one of the things that OMT has is that they have a lot of priority on at least bot lane and mid lane. I think that they should have priority over those two lanes. And if that's the case, they can try and shut down the Zac in the early stages of the game with the Lee Sin jungle, Xin Zhao mid lane.
Yep, I was about to actually talk about it, but I was waiting for an opportunity. I just looked him up to make sure all of his, check it out. And definitely he's... you can't really say he's a one-trick because he does have a lot of games on other champions, but it is by far his most played. And he does play Xin Zhao a lot in mid lane. Okay. And I say you can't call him a one-trick, but at the same time, it's like you've got almost 200 games on a single champion, and then your highest is Garen with 22 games. So it's like... almost half of your games in Masters are playing Xin Zhao. But yeah, it is going to be Xin Zhao mid, so I
think we can call him a one-trick, yeah. I think he deserves it. He can get it.
Yeah, looks like it's very interesting to kind of go see what these players actually like play and stuff like that, because if you look at his match history and you look at what he plays, he doesn't really seem like he plays a lot of mid laners. Like, all of his champions are mostly top laners. Jin Zhao, Garen, Rumble, Renekton are like some of his top like 6 played or whatever out of the top 6.
Okay.
Those are 6 played, and he plays them all mid lane.
Yeah, that's strange, but it's one of the things that I think I've come to realize about mid lane is that your playstyle from other lanes can be perfectly imitated in mid lane, and you can pull it off easily. Like the most hard playstyle to pull off in mid lane is probably support, just because of how certain champions work. And even with that, you can play champions that can heavy roam and just affect AL lanes like a support will do. So you really are not shackled by certain champions if you play mid lane, just because of how the lane works. But obviously there's instances where not playing champions like Orianna, Syndra, Seer, when it comes to metas, if those champions are strong, if you cannot play them, then it's going to be really hard for you. But on this particular moment of the meta, or this particular patch and part of the meta, champions like Xinjiao, champions like Silence, like Nocturne, that can be played in the jungle, can be perfectly played on mid lane, and they can have such a huge impact that in other moments they probably can't. So having this type of playstyle can benefit you in this kind of meta as well.
Absolutely. That being said, guys, we are going to go to a short break as we are now going into the 3-minute spectator delay. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Will USC be able to pull back from the jaws of death and get this first win here to try to make this a series, or will Omega Titan Esports close out the series 2-0 over USC? We will be right back. Alrighty, guys, welcome back to game number 2 between the University of Southern California, and Omega Titans. After a very electrifying, action-packed game 1, I hope to see another game very similar as far as kills and action and stuff like that is concerned. To represent OMT on the blue side, we have Sleepyhead playing Kennen. We have Yoroshiku playing Jungle Lee Sin, Flyer 666 in the mid lane on Jin Zhao, Circlet on AD carry Caitlyn, and I'm Brakai playing Leona support. Now, representing the USC here, we have the Django AD playing Quinn in the top lane, Damon in the jungle on Zac, Meteorite in mid lane playing the Steely Boy himself, Silas, USC Inferno on AD carry Kaisa, and Lynn going to be supporting this time on the Thresh. And looking at these two games here, man, these two team comps, where do you expect this early game to go, and what do you expect to see for the movements of the junglers in the early game?
Obviously, looking at the junglers, we know that what Lee Sin should be. He pretty much wants to get at least camps going for a gank or going for a fight in the early stage of the game. I think that's what Yoroshiku will try, more than likely try and pull off. Now on, okay, Flyer.
Engage here, Flyer going in onto Meteorite, but going to be able to sustain very nicely with that passive.
Yeah, but that was instant. It's nice to see the Xin Zhao, and he went for what? For Doran's ring, so he's going to start with the AP damage, especially because the W he has now better scalings on the AP side. So starting with that can be better for the early trades, and then transitioning into a more tanky build or more damage build, it's perfectly fine for the Xin Zhao. And Django also going for a good trade on top lane.
Absolutely. Also, I would expect the Jin Zhao to be going Duskblade first, if I had to guess. But yeah, going with the Doran's Blade here is totally fine, especially starting that Audacious Charge there, since it has very, very good and only magic damage scaling, getting that extra attack speed.
Yeah, I think Eclipse can probably be the option also, just because. But like you're saying, we probably will most likely see the lethality version of the Xin Zhao. I think. I don't think he will try and experiment with other things. And also, quick note, with the if you're looking at the Lee Sin, he went in and stole the blue buff from the Zac and the Grump as well. He went for 3 camps, but is stealing the bot side from the Zac, and the Zac doesn't know that. So now if he's able to pull this gank off and then go into top side, he will be so ahead.
Here comes a dash forward onto Meteorite. He is going to be able to hit the chains and the knockup coming through. Meteorite taking a little bit of damage, but trading back pretty effectively onto Flyer.
I think Flyer hit a minion.
He actually goes back in onto Meteorite and just constant trading, and he might not have more damage here, but he does win these trades harder, getting extra healing from the passive with the extra Meteorite going back and able to dodge, and here comes the Ignites coming through, and the Sonic Wave. He's actually going to be able to take him down. Is going to follow anyways. Flyer not going to be able to do too much as he goes down to Damon, and now Yoroshiku is being spotted out by Django. Going to take the blast cone over the wall here, but he is getting absolutely routed. Here comes the teleport down from Silas as well. Yoroshiku going to try to survive, does ward hop.
He's so bad.
And it's just not going to be enough. Going to be going down, kill gifted over to Inferno on this Kaisa, and that's not what you want to see if you are the bot lane.
Yeah, in the least, the person that probably would have been worse to get that. It was probably going to be Meteorite, but Inferno getting that double buffs as well. Oh wait, Damon? I'm
Brakai gonna be able to, gets flashed on by Lynn, but he is gonna miss that hook. And here comes a stun onto Damon. The teleport is gonna be utilized by Sleepyhead. Sleepyhead going in onto Inferno, gets the stun down on him. Sleepyhead is gonna get his plate and the stun up the Ignite. One's gonna be credited with kill. Circle doing so much damage. Now has the red buff, so Lynn will fall. One last auto attack. Cancels his auto there, actually. Nice. Doesn't matter now. Damon taking one last auto for his trouble, and they're going to back off immediately. And we asked for an action-packed game, and we got one.
Yeah, 5 kills in 4 minutes. We couldn't ask for something better. Really nice to be by Sleepyhead. Will Damon? Yeah, he will cancel it. No. That feels so bad for Sleepyhead just because the getting frozen on topside, so he may lose a little bit of CS, and that may be more... Oh, wait, Damon is still going on.
The stun going to go through Damon. Kind of brought very low, but... Oh, he just... Yeah. A lot of damage coming out, and they are going to let it go, but... Both mid laners already rotating down. Lynn was looking for 90 caliber net going to be used onto Lynn. Same with the Piltover Peacemaker. Damon
Yeah,
looking
but-
for
okay.
the elastic slingshot, does not get the knockup. Circlet gonna flash away and still has red buff. Actually canceled like 3 autos there, unfortunately.
He was trying to get the traps down. If he's able to flash, get the trap, then he... Nice trade
Well,
by Flyer.
Absolutely. What he was trying to do is he was trying to auto cancel 2 drop traps, and he unfortunately screwed it up.
Yeah, but because with the red, he more than likely would have been able to... I think... Oh, wait.
Good landing. Oh, he gets stuff, and that's gonna be the kill. Paper Kai takes him down, and Damon just absolutely struggling in this matchup, just getting caught out constantly here.
Yeah, and one of the things, the TP... Oh, wait, Flyer is alone.
I hate to interrupt you again, but here comes another fight. Flyer's gonna be surviving temporarily. Django does see Hiroshima. The Sonic Wave lands, and Meteorite taking a little bit of damage, but it's not going to really be really matter there. Flyer, no ignite.
Here comes Damon.
Does hit up to Django, but Yoroshiga takes a lot of damage. Gonna have to flash away here, and Damon immediately getting knocked aside by Flyer there. Gonna be slowed as well, and man, that Crescent Guard just keeping his jungler safe.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that Flyer and Yoroshiku didn't try to bait
I keep saying his name wrong. I keep
It's
saying his name wrong, man.
or Yoroshiku. I'm not sure.
I called him Hiroshima, so I mean, I've said it right a couple times, but that last time in the middle of saying it, oh, this is actually coming out. Yeah, in the middle of fights, you're not really focusing on names all that much.
I think we should call him Yoro, and that's it. That would be really easy to try and pull it off. But
probably
one of the things that I'm surprised that Flyer and try to pull off is trying to bait Django in, because the Xinjiao was level 6. They could have probably killed the queen if they try and bait her in, but they just try and disengage and try and force something else. And so much damage.
Absolutely. Also, here comes the gank on the top side. He gets the pullback and the knockup to Django. It's going to be very low, but so will Shalipi. The kill is going to be turned around, and he's going to hit level 6. Now the stun's coming down, and Damon is going to fall as well. No. Quinn was just too low in that fight for it to really matter. Ace in the hole going to be used onto Inferno just to chunk him down for some HP, so he cannot step up for these minions.
Yeah, I think... And in that, I think Django messed up, because they were going to try and kill the cannon before he was able to reach level 6. They were able to get on top of him, but because Django was so badly positioned, they allow the cannon to be on top of the queen so easily, and then he's able to get the damage on top of the queen, and because they get the kill, the cannon is able to reach level 6, and then they trade with Damon. Damon is so far behind. He's 2 levels down on Yoro, and almost 20 CS. He's in a really bad position with Zac, and we were talking about how the Zac needed to at least pull off the first 2 ganks. Wait, Flyer?
Oh, I interrupt you because Meteorite is going to be stealing the ultimate. It is going to use the crushing. Oh, he shines! Flyer's going to be able to flash away here. Will it be enough? Here comes one more auto attack, and he is going to be going down here. Kick is going to be available. Dragon Strike is not going to be used, though, as Lee Sin picks up Django AD off the backside, but Django picks up the kill first onto Flyer, that Crescent Guard. Not going to keep him safe for long.
Yeah, but it ended up being a 2-for-1 because Flyer killed Meteorite before that. So overall, it just seems like the plays that the side from USC are trying to pull off are not going well, and instead they get counterplayed by the side of OMT, and then they lose more than what they try to win. Oh, close. And now first strike for the side of OMT. This early game has been so chaotic, but it's been chaotic good for the side of OMT and chaotic bad for the side of USC.
Yeah, I mean, they're 4,000 gold up at 9 minutes in the game. That is disgusting. That means you're every minute, oh, here comes the dash forward, and Flyer just constantly going on to Meteorite. Like, he's doing this with calculated aggression, absolutely.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's funny because usually you only see that kind of aggression out of, like, silver, bronze, gold matches where you see this blind aggression, but it's calculated in this sense, and it's very funny to watch. Lynn's gonna be pushing forward here. Here comes the hook, and the solar flare gonna be not hit on anybody. The blade on the backside, the stun coming out. Lynn's gonna fall here. Meteor is trying to be able to pick up Circlet on the backside. Killer is gonna be able to pick up the kill on to Caitlyn, but will he fall? He still survives somehow. He's still alive. Goes down to the slicing. Damon is gonna be very, very low, and he will fall as well. A double kill coming out for Kennen, and I'm Berkai finishes off Damon, and this should be another plating or the tower at 10 minutes in bot side in favor of OMT.
Yeah, and that play seems so good for the side of USC. They get the flay on top of the... And they were almost able to... as fast as they can, but one of the things that the side of OMT has, that the side of USC doesn't, is the top lane can collapse quickly to the fight with the teleport. Sleepyhead was able to instantly TP, and Django cannot force that fight unless he's already moving prior to that happening. And because of that, Sleepyhead is able to get there. He is able to use the ultimate to get on top of the Kai'Sa, on top of the Sylas, on top of the Zac, and they instantly die. And also the Xinjiao was able to get close quickly to the fight because he's on mid lane. The distance between mid and bot lane is shorter than that from top lane to bot lane. So it's going to be kind of, if the Queen is not already involved, it's going to be a numbers disadvantage almost always.
The only thing that Quinn has an advantage of is he can constantly use that ultimate. He can constantly turn into bird form, be able to get his way around the map. So Kennen has to be so careful of when he uses that teleport. And in the reverse, the reverse is true as well. USC have to be careful of Kennen's ultimate. They always have to have that timer. Here comes the engage on the mid lane. Circlet is going to get, oh my gosh, the 90 caliber net constantly is to be able to dodge it. The Zenith Blade is going to go through as Lin also gets stunned up. Piltover Peacemaker means that Damon is going to be able to flash out. He's going to survive. The flash forward from Circlet. Here comes the Bloblets though. Will it be enough? Piltover Peacemaker.
I don't think
it's going to have to be utilized in time. Only picking up one. Mistimed there, unfortunately, as Ace in the Hole is going to be blocked by Lin, as Circlet just barely mistimed that Ace in the Hole, or sorry, the Piltover Peacemaker, which could have actually killed Damon there. But here comes Meteor going to be engaging back onto Flyer 666. Here comes the knockback, and Flyer's going to be able to take him down. Ignite ticking now as he goes back in on Django. No other choice, and Django trades back 1-for-1, but a 1v2 for Flyer. Here comes the Flyer. That is going to be all she wrote, and Euroshiku is going to be able to pick up another kill for himself.
Yeah, and just like that, this just feels like the outplay show. Flyer gets the solo kill on Meteorite because not only is he ahead in kills, but he's also ahead in levels. I think he's 2 levels ahead of Meteorite right now, at least 1. And then even though Django is able to get the counter kill, the Lee Sin from Yoroshku just comes in, flashes, gets the kill really easily, and because of that, they now trade favorably for them 2-for-1.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, side note, if I screw up your name enough times, it's probably going to permanently be screwed up, so you telling me, just to let you know, if you guys tell me I screwed up the name, I probably know, and I probably just don't care anymore. I will do my best, but...
The important thing is that we notice. We notice. That's what matters.
When we make a mistake, we know.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But still, the good thing is that at least you're putting off a really good play in the list, and so at least that's going well. That's good enough for us.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Going into another quick side note, although this has to, in-game wise, a really nice vision once again by the side of OM. They have control of the objectives. They know where the objectives should have vision and should have pressure on, and they have pressure on bot lane as well as the mid lane. They should have control as soon as Caitlyn arrives. Oh wait, but whoa!
Yoshika is actually going to the backside. Solar Flare is going to be dodged away from by the... Oh, the Zenith Blade going forward. Lin not going to get the stun. Or sorry, I'm not going to get the stun onto Inferno. And that almost was devastating for USC, but barely able to squeak out. As here comes the Elastic Slingshot over the wall, but no, it will not be utilized as Lin brought very, very low. Sonic Wave is going to be dashed away from, but the stun being brought down. Will it be enough? Trying to hit him with the Sonic Wave, barely short. And Euroshiku not going to be getting that kill.
Yeah, but this is still all valuable because the Drake is up. The Mountain Drake is up. They can now, because of the low health. Oh, wait, Damon?
Knockup gets the pullback, and he is going to fall. Sleepy goes down. Flyer is going to be able to use that Crescent Guard to be able to take down, or be able to split the team as Imbrakai stalls on the backside. Sonic Wave and a Smite being brought out. The flash from Imbrakai. Oh, he almost got body blocked by his own team. Taking an extra tower shot there. Almost goes down, but he is going to survive. Quinn not able to tag Yoroshiku there. And they are looking to potentially get a pick here.
They should be able to control the area. Yeah, they should be able to control the area with the traps, and they should be able to break with... I don't expect USC to try and overforce Zaki.
And they shouldn't with a 7,000 gold deficit by 14 minutes. That is absolutely disgusting. They're going right into Meteorite here, but Sonic Wave not going to land. They do spot him out.
They have Leon ultimate.
Right on to Yoshiko. Here comes the Flay. Imbrakai is going to be very, very low. Finally falls. Yoshiko's barely going to be alive for now. The Ignite is ticking down. Kennen is back, and that is going to be a kill on to Quinn. Meteorite going to be aimed at by the Ace in the Hole. But unfortunately for Inferno, he was in the path, and he takes the shot to the back of the head for Meteorite.
Yeah, and these fights from USC, they just seem like they can try and pull it off, but they are so far behind in gold that the side from OMT can just get the wins really easily. The Lee Sin goes in with, I think, almost just half HP, and still is able to do so much in the teamfight just because of how far ahead they are.
Here
But
comes
they
the
are overstepping a lot.
Meteorites going in. A Sleepyhead and Circlet are going to be fighting onto Damon. Damon gets a double knockup, and here comes
Double
a double
ultimate.
spacing Maelstrom as Meteorite is going to be able to seal it. And Sleepyhead is still alive on Ferlin. The flash forward from the jungle is going to be able to take him out. Flyer still alive, though. But Kennen and Caitlyn fall, and they trade 2 for 2. And for those of you that don't know, when you are behind, trading 2 for 2 with no objectives taken afterwards is actually a win. You have to try to accelerate the game so that at an even pace to make sure that gold lead does not increase. Still 7,000 gold at 16 minutes.
Yeah, and not only the fact that you're behind, but they got double shutdowns from the Kennen and the Kid. So it's super valuable for them if they are able to get those kind of picks and kills and trade it equally.
Absolutely.
Oh wait, no, Janko.
Yoshiku got... Oh, he's going to miss the Sonic Wave, though. Now going back in, and he gets to hit him with the Dragon Strike and finishes him off with the Sonic Wave. I guess it just doesn't matter when you have that much CDR. Here comes the Solar Flare. Solar Flare to stop him?
She's alone.
Lyn is going to be trying to be taken out. The Ignite's going through his Ironberkai. Inferno going to be able to block it. Ooh, the nice passive there, but very aggressive. Ironberkai. Everybody's getting kills. I want more than 2. Come on.
Yeah, the 228 support wants to go and solo kill the enemy support. That seems just about right. I didn't expect anything less, but I have to give credit to Inferno because with him standing in front, he's able to deny that kill for the killing, and then they get a counter kill as well. That's still really valuable gold going into the pocket of Inferno. That he's not really far behind from the killing yet, but it's still 1,000 gold that he needs to be able to surmount before he's able to catch up to the killing.
Also, yeah, I mean, that's the second time now he's taking a bullet for somebody else. The first time the bullet was aimed at Meteorite and Inferno was already going to die. He was still way too close to the enemy to actually feasibly escape. Takes a bullet for Meteorite to the back of the head. Takes another bullet to the back of the head now for his support. And here comes the dash forward. And that's unfortunately, he is going to go down to the slicing Maelstrom here. Gale Force not going to keep him alive.
Yeah, Kennen has been... The impact that Kennen has had this game, he has been almost any place, and now he can fight against the Queen really easy. And the Queen has Knight advantage, and he's still able to solo kill her, so it's been really good as Sleepyhead's Kennen.
Sonic Waves to deny the recall. Yoshiku has Rift Herald as well. I don't know if they're going to use it to pop mid-inhib here. Usually as a rule of thumb, taking a full inhib prior to 20 minutes, not always the greatest choice, as it does starve you out from one of your lanes of resources. However, with a lead this large, they might actually consider it to try to close out the game quickly.
Yeah, they can try to pull it off, and some of their champions benefit from trying to finish this game as early as possible, like the Lee Sin, like the Xin Zhao, because the longer the game goes on, they become less effective in comparison to the Zac, to the Sylas. So I kind of could see them trying to pull that off, specifically just because of this composition. But I think that they may try and just put the Herald as soon as the Drake spawns, so that they have these 2 advantages points. Oh wait, Berkai.
Berkai gets hooked, but it's not gonna. There's no way that they take that hook.
I thought they were going to try and pull off that play with the Kennen ultimate, but it was done. Oh, Damon.
Sonic Wave going to land. Damon going to be able to use the Elastic Slingshot to get to the Blast Cone, and he is going to be able to pop himself over the wall to safety.
Yeah, they should be able to get destroyed and then put the Herald down. I think that's what they will try and pull off. And also, quick thing, it's conveniently another Infernal Soul team that has the more damage right now and can benefit so much from that Infernal Soul.
I mean, it is going to be the Infernal Dragon here coming out, and I don't expect USC to be able to
contest
this.
I'm surprised the Herald is still not being used. I think I thought it was going to be used in the Drake, but no, they're going to get this free Drake with this, they have now complete control of what happens in the next 4 minutes, and USC is now forced to have to fight in the next 5 minutes. They 100% have to fight, because if OMT gets the soul, I think it's just going to be so hard to try and win a fight against them, especially with how far ahead they are. Ooh, Damon missed that.
What is, or do you see actually, a way for USC to be able to come back in this game? Because it is an 8,000 gold lead at 20 minutes. They've slowed the bleeding, but they are still hemorrhaging gold right now.
They need to get a pick on Kennen and on Lee Sin, because those two champions are the most problematic to try and slow the game down. Lee Sin because of the smite, Kennen because of his teamfight prowess. If those two and the TP, if those two champions died, it's going to be easy. Oh, Damon goes in.
Damon goes in with the elastic slingshot that loses 2/3 of his HP for his trouble. And here comes a flash forward from Einberkai. Does not get the stun on anyone. Flash or flay from Lin as the hook lands. And meanwhile, Meteorite is on the backside for Caitlyn. Caitlyn is still going to survive as the flash forward from Meteorite. And he's been able to actually does turn. Wait, no. Sorry, excuse me. Caitlyn. For a second there, I freaked out. Caitlyn the flay from Lin. And now they are going to go down. Flyer is going to be invisible. The Duskblade completed. For just a brief moment, I thought Circlet died to Meteorite, but it was the other way around as it was off screen. But that is going to be ultimately 2-for-1 in favor of OMT. Here comes the engage. Nice. Flyer is going to be knocked back. Will he go down? The Bloblet's going through, and the slicing Maelstrom dealing so much damage, and that is going to be 2 more kills in the OMT back pocket. They are absolutely hemorrhaging gold from USC, and this looks like it might just be an inhibitor going down at 22 minutes.
Yeah, and that can perfectly be Baron as well. They are pinging it. I think they should be able to go for it. The side from USC knows that they need to pull off a Hail Mary play, but they try and go for the Caitlyn that has Flash and Gale Force, so she's more easy. She has a more easy time to try and reposition, and then the counter engage from the side of OMT is so easy to execute. This thing goes a little bit too far, too deep, but it's still perfectly controllable, and the Ken wasn't even close. When he was close and they tried to over-engage, the Ken ultimate just becomes so impactful. I don't think they can try and stop this. This should die before they are able to get close. Yeah, it's
Baron is going to be going down, and I mean, that's going to be completely uncontested. Just 2 members is enough to stave off the entire enemy team of USC.
Yeah. That's why I thought that they were going to try and get picks on the Kennen, because if you get a pick on the side laner, then you can free up your queen to try and help over to the side really easily as well. And that way you can stop a little bit the impact that the side laner can have. And also the Lee Sin just because of the smite. If you're able to kill those two, it's harder for them to be able to clear objectives or be able to put pressure on certain places of the map. But they try and go for an all-in engage on mid lane against the Caitlyn that can reposition so easily. And even though they try and overforce, the counter damage from the Caitlyn is so huge, you're gonna get such an easy engage. So I know that USC has to go for a Hail Mary, but I don't think that's the kind of Hail Mary that you should try and pull off.
Absolutely. I mean, with the inhibitor down here, it's looking pretty dire for USC. But
there's still chances. Like, if they are able to survive, then maybe they can win, because they have I think they have better late game.
Here, but speaking of picks, they're actually the ones getting picked out. Slicing Maelstrom is going to be used, but it's only going to be used as one, as the bouncy castle from Damon is going to be able to push him away from the team. Here comes the teleport from Meteorite, but it's on the wrong side of the wall as they're going on to USC Inferno. The dash onto Lin and the knockup. The Crescent is going to be brought down, and Lin is going to fall to Caitlyn. Meanwhile, in the Meteorite is taken down by the likes of Leona and... oh, the Dragon Strike right onto Inferno, and that looks like it's going to be the game. It is just the Django AD left alive. Can't do anything here on his one trick. He's trying to deal damage. He is going to be able to Gale Force away. It takes down the Lee Sin, to his credit, flashing away from Flyer. Flyer going to be going in just a second as the Ignite actually takes him down. That's going to be both Nexus towers falling. The Nexus itself is falling.
So well done.
Zach is trying to go in, but it's not going to be enough. Does get the knockup from the Elastic Slingshot. Sleepyhead very low, but that is going to be the game and the series going over to OMT.
Yeah, really, really, really well executed by this. I think this was 2 really clean games to some degree by the side of OMT, because as soon as they got the advantages that they needed, they just continued steamrolling the game. They didn't stop at any point in either of these games, and I like what we saw from OMT today. I think that USC also played to a really good degree, but sadly on this particular game, they were so far behind so early on. I think by 9 minutes they were already 7,000 gold down. So it's just really difficult for their composition to try and pull off something, especially being so down. And one of the things that really needed to be ahead early on to have impact was the queen. But because she died so early on, she tried to move around but didn't get anything. The Kennen was just slowly but surely accruing gold and being able to impact other places. The ultimate from
Right.
Kennen was going to be more valuable than the queen, and at the end of the day, that just ended up happening. Also, the Xinjiao was a really valuable pick in this game, having so much pressure on mid lane and then being able to help the other lanes as well. And whenever he wanted to go in, his ultimate made him so much more durable against certain champions.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is that for the side of USC, they don't have a comp that can really skirmish early. They want to
Yeah,
skirmish once the mid game happens. They don't necessarily want to skirmish within the first like 10 to 12
10
minutes.
minutes.
And they
Okay.
got sucked. Yeah, they got sucked right into OMT, which is you have a Jinzhao who's strong as soon as he hits like level 2. He's still strong at level 1, but like he can skirmish as soon as he's level 2. Lee Sin is notorious for being a good skirmisher. Caitlyn obviously is great DPS at pretty much all stages of the game with headshot available. And then you've got Leona, the queen of CC herself, so amplifying damage with the sunlight passive. It's they just got sucked into how OMT wanted to play the game, and they got absolutely punished for it.
Yeah.
But that being said, guys, congratulations to both teams, but obviously congratulations more to OMT. This is going to be a victory in your book, 2-0 over USC. I don't believe we have any announcements or anything like that. So on behalf
Not yet.
of... What's up?
No, not that I know. One quick thing is that this is another win for the side of the Infernal House, so for that as well.
Yep, absolutely. But on behalf of myself, my co-caster here at TDS, and everybody here at Runeterra Academy, we hope that you guys have a fantastic night. We hope that you enjoy, and we hope to see you guys next time.